So I've been doing a fun challenge where we take each of the Starry forms from the Starry form Druid, and we're trying to build a build around it that focuses on it and tries to bring out its flavor and potential. Today's is going to be the Dragon form. Now, like I mentioned, we've done similar builds for the other two, the Chalice and the Archer. If you want to check those out, check them out here. So what does the Dragon do for us? It basically makes us immune to a lot of our concentration checks. So we can kind of be more aggressive about how we use our concentration. It was kind of an interesting puzzle figuring out how to do a build around this. How do we get more aggressive? How do we use that strong concentration? Well, what we came up with is a melee Gish summoner Druid. Super unique. I'm really excited to share this one with you guys. Let's jump into it. First off, you're going to want to be a Tortle. We're going to need a lot of stats on our mental stats. So we kind of need to discard our dexterity and our strength. And in order to do that, we need to have a decent AC. So Tortles are kind of a must here. With Tortle, you can get up to 19 AC with a shield. Really great. The stats we're going to be looking for is, of course, Wisdom's going to be our primary. Our secondary is going to be Constitution. And this might surprise you. Our tertiary is going to be Charisma. We'll get into why later. So we're going to take our first 5 levels in Druid. This is going to help us get our Starry form online, and it's going to help us begin our style of summoning. So at level 3, we get Summon Beast. And what's cool about Summon Beast is if you take the land animal form, if we're a melee Druid, we're going to run in there and we're going to attack. And then right after our turn is done, the land beast can come in and attack with advantage on every single one of their attacks. Now, the more attacks they get, the better that gets. The land beast is always going to be an option if we want a lot of consistent damage output. But once we hit level 5, we're going to get Summon Fey. Now, Summon Fey, it gets less accurate attacks, but it does get higher quality attacks. And it's going to offer us some cool synergies once we start mixing it with our cantrips. So before we get into Summon Fey, let's talk a bit about our cantrips. So early off, Primal Savagery is going to be very important for us. It's just the highest damage output that we can do as a melee Druid. Something else to keep in mind is that we don't have Dark Vision, so we're going to need some sort of light cantrip. However, once we get our third cantrip, we're actually going to pick up Shillelagh. Shillelagh isn't going to be used until later because Primal Savagery is outperforming it, but later we're going to get some options that is going to make it really cool. So let's bounce into level 6 real quick, the level after we get Summon Fey. We may be using Summon Fey, we may be using Summon Beast, but at level 6, we're going to take 1 level into Fathomless Warlock, a really strange multi-class that has a lot of power here. First off, it's going to weaponize our bonus action. Now, proficiency times a day, we get to summon our Watery Tentacle, and we can attack people with it and just get more damage output by having it. The second thing we're going to get out of it is we get Eldritch Blast, something we can do for long-ranged options. It's not our best offensive option, but it is there for when we need that 120 feet attack. Armor of Agathis is also an amazing spell that we get from going that 1 level dip into Warlock. Now, keep in mind that your summons, you want to be summoning on even levels. Every summon in the game powers up on even levels. That means we're going to have these odd level spells that we can use to mix in Armor of Agathis. It's concentrationless. We are in melee, so it's going to increase our tankiness while dealing more damage to enemies that are trying to kill us in melee. So the synergies just add up here. It's also going to give us Booming Blade, and this is where Shillelagh comes in. Booming Blade plus Shillelagh is still not as good as Primal Savagery unless we have a high percentage chance of them moving, and that's where Summon Fey's synergies come back into play. So we have a couple different kinds of Summon Fey. Mirthful is going to allow us to charm our enemy. So our turn might look like this. Action, we use Shillelagh with Booming Blade. Bonus action, we use our Tentacle attack. Now it's our summon's turn. They're going to action attack. Then they're going to bonus action teleport next to this enemy and potentially charm them. So now they're charmed. They see us as friends. There's a couple things they can do. They can make an attack at range. If they make that choice, then they're doing it at disadvantage because even though they don't see us as enemies, we are their enemies. Or they may say, hey, I have no reason to move at all, but they're not going to attack us anyways, and so they just kind of do nothing with their turn. Or they decide to move, proccing Booming Blade. So Booming Blade does damage to them, and now we're their enemies again. But that also potentially gave us an opportunity to get opportunity attacks. So because they were our friend, now not only did we weaponize all of those actions, our action, our bonus action, our summons action, their bonus action, but now we weaponize both of our reactions. And then on top of that, with their attack action, we're doing more damage with Armor of Agathis. That is an insane setup for our action economy. Awesome. But the Mirthful isn't the only way to do this. The Tricksy Fey summons darkness on top of them. So once again, it puts them in a catch-22. We do the exact same attack pattern, but now we put them in darkness. So what are their choices? They can stand there in complete darkness, not see anyone, not be able to target anyone with spells, and just kind of stand there and do nothing, or they can move, proccing a Booming Blade, as well as potentially walking out into our opportunity attacks. So long story short, Summon Fey is a great way to weaponize our Shillelagh Booming Blade synergies. But as we get higher in level, we get other summons. We get Summon Elemental. Summon Elemental is basically summon me a tank, especially the Earth Elemental. They have resistance to slashing and piercing damage and essentially have 100 HP when facing enemies who rely on those damage types. Absolutely just a monster of holding the line, though admittedly they have less synergies overall than what the Fey can offer. Then at 5th level spells, we get Summon Draconic Spirit. This is just a versatile playstyle powerhouse. It has great attack, it has great defenses, and it lets us fly. But again, it has less synergies for us than what the Fey offers. So we now have a spread. If we need a tank, we have a summon. If we just need consistent damage output, we have a summon. We have our consistent Fey summon. If we need a fly, we have a summon. And I think that's really cool that it's like kind of choose your Pokemon. And we just do something that Druids never really do, which is just run up and tangle in melee with our cool summons. I think that's really cool flavor playstyle right there. Speaking of flavor, something really cool is that we have this fathomless Warlock, right? But instead of thinking of it as something that is deep underwater, we're a stars Druid. Maybe one night when we were looking up at the stars, we connected to this entity of deep knowledge, a fathomless entity deep into space. That's pretty cool. I like that. And there's a lot of story potential there, which I know you guys shine at. So let me know what stories you come up with that prompt. So what we have here is someone who can cover all forms of range. We have someone who has great saves. Dexterity saves is a weakness, but we have absorb elements to help us buffer that weakness. We have solid AC. Our HP can go quite far. Our HP goes further with Armor of Agathis. So overall, our defenses and offenses are coming together in this really nice package. And something that really shines here is how efficient our action economy is. And because of the power of the Dragon Starry form, our concentration saves are near unbreakable, which is the main weakness of being a concentration-based melee caster. So I really just feel like this is a well-rounded, really interesting, really cool and flavorful build. I was really excited to make it, but I would love to hear what you guys would do to improve on it. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, this video was released early for our patrons. If you want similar benefits and even more, consider checking out our Patreon and potentially supporting the channel. We'd really appreciate it. But other than that, we love you lots, and we'll see you on the next one. See you later, bye.